Hello party people, my name is Eric, back with another video about real estate. Disclaimer, I am a beginner, but these are the things that we've learned while we've been in this property that we've kind of taken into the next step of our investing career. There are 7 things that we believe that should be the very focus of why you should get started in real estate. The first one is it's very scalable. You can use leverage to your advantage if you do it the right way. Let's say we compare this with stocks, okay? You buy a $20,000 share in the stock, you own that much. That is your equity. You have $20,000 invested into that company. But let's say we take 25% of a down payment into a house that's worth $100,000. Hopefully my math is right. $25,000 into the house. That means you have leveraged your money to get yourself into a $100,000 house. So you don't own $25,000 worth of this house only. Like you have equity in the house, which is 25, but you own a $100,000 house. That's the first point. Another way it's very scalable is you can take your money, depending on the certain loan that you get, and you can use a much lower down payment in order to get a bigger house. So for our example, we used an FHA loan, which is 3.5% down payment to get a house. So our house was about $200,000, give or take negotiation fees. We ended up getting it for around 6.5. So much better than a 20% down payment, which was around $40,000, right? I would agree so too. The second reason you should get started into real estate is there's very low overhead. The business operating expenses associated with being in real estate are much lower compared to other businesses, let's say like Amazon. Personally, I've done Amazon and I love it, but it's tough to keep the business thriving if you don't have the capital for it. Essentially, if I need to make a profit on some products, I need to buy obviously those products and have a good enough margin in order to do that. Let's say someone jumps on the listing, I might have potentially lost that product to sell. But in real estate, you have this listing, you have this property, you can buy it at X dollars. There's, other than the furnishing and what have you, if you're doing Airbnb, there's really nothing else that you need to pay, minus utilities and mortgage. But if you're doing a long-term rental for somebody, you don't even have to worry about utilities if you include it in the contract. So essentially, you're only paying the mortgage, and if you did your numbers right, the tenant should be paying for your mortgage. The third reason why real estate is a very good investment for a lot of people out there is it's very passive. Other investment sources, you're going to have to spend hours and hours and hours in order to build. It could take months, it could take years to build up this product or service that you've been trying to sell. And then you have to keep maintaining it, everything like that. In real estate, you do have to maintain the property. If you do it yourself, that's one thing. If you do it with the property manager, that 8% to 10% fee that you're probably paying them outweighs the headaches that you would have to deal with otherwise dealing with it yourself. So dealing with the property yourself cuts into the time that you spend doing other things. Obviously, can lower your dollar per hour input and output. So obviously, the passivity of it, of real estate, is bar none better than most other investment platforms out there. Since you're getting, let's say, a 10% return on your investment, if you're getting a $10,000 investment into this property, you put $10,000 in, every month you get 10% of that, $1,000 a month, not bad. The fourth reason that you should invest in real estate, or at least consider it, is there's infinite demand. Somebody somewhere at some place needs a place to live. There are so many houses out there, and there are people always looking to find a house to live in. It could be 2 weeks or 2 months, but at some point that person, that potential tenant, is going to reach out asking to be living in this house. Otherwise, with products or Amazon or whatever have you, you have to create the need, and then they have to feel the need and desire to buy the product. But in real estate, you have the demand, you have all of it, you have control over all of it. It's just a matter of does the price match with their budget and what they're willing to do? Most of the time, if you do your numbers right, if you compare with the other people in the area, all of the other competitors, you should have no problem getting someone in your space relatively soon. The fifth reason why real estate is a very good investment for a lot of people, it's very versatile, which means that there's so many avenues that you can go into in order to make this thing work. There are, just to name a few, there's wholesaling, long-term real estate investing, short-term rentals, flipping. Those are some. There are many, 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 many more that you can do, but those are more the popular ones that you would see nowadays. And it has shown to be a very productive type of investing. So with wholesaling, you're basically, in a simple sense, you would go find this property that's worth $60,000, say I will acquire it for $55,000, give it to a buyer for $65,000, take that $10,000 difference, and that's basically your job. Long-term rentals, obviously you have a house, you buy it, you rehab it, you fix it up, you rent it out, and you refinance it, which is called the BRRRR method from Bigger Pockets. That's kind of how I got started in all of this, as I learned from them. But essentially what that does is you fix everything up that needs to be fixed up, you have it rented out, you refinance, you essentially get your money back. Maybe not all of it, but if you put $10,000 in and you get $7,000 back, putting in $3,000 and then getting, let's say, $850 a month, not a bad deal. Over the course of, 4 months, you're pretty much recouped all of your costs. Now, the thing that's so great about long-term is there's no furnishing required. They pay for the utilities. Essentially, you just have to pay the mortgage and everything else is covered on the tenant's back end, okay? Now, short-term rentals is something that we're in right now. We have a detached unit, a guest suite or a mother-in-law apartment in the back of the house. It's a 1-bed, 1-bath gym area inside of that unit. And basically what that is we listed it on Airbnb, VRBO, and Booking.com. Link the calendars. It's essentially a hotel. So we have it at, let's say $40 per night. They come in for a week. Now we have the ability to make the prices much higher than they would if it was a long-term rental, because it's not on a consistent basis. So it's, let's say a hotel is at around $50 a night. We'll probably go a little bit lower, 45, 40-ish, to kind of get that edge and offer quality amenities that hotels may not even offer, so that it's more attractive to the potential tenants. Now, another way to do investing in real estate is fix and flips. Very simple, but it's probably not all as it seems to be online. It's not as easy sometimes. You may realize very quickly that it's easy to go over budget if you don't have the right systems in place in order to track these things. So if you buy a house for, let's say, $50,000, you appraise it, and the value of it is around market value 120. So that leaves you with about $70,000 of room to play with. Obviously, you don't want to use 70,000 of it, but you go in, you change the floors, the roof, the windows, things like that, things that kind of make it pop, make the value of it better. A good thing to do is value add. So if it's a specific square footage in the house and it's only like a 1-bedroom house, so let's say like a 1,200 square foot house and there's a 1-bedroom, you can absolutely add another bedroom somewhere in there. There's probably an open area that can just be secluded with a wall. You can add another bedroom, obviously increase the rent or appraisal value of that by, let's say, $20,000, $30,000. So you get it reappraised, comes back at 175, you put in 50, that's a really nice profit overall if you put in a total of around like 80,000 to just refurnish and like refurb the whole place. Obviously the fat paychecks are great, but the headaches, sometimes you have to weigh that out. The sixth reason to invest in real estate, or at least consider it, is kind of what we've done. We've looked at properties out in the area around here. Basically, let's say they're around $1,600 per month rent. Now, what you can do is if you got a unit or a duplex or something like that, that you can rent out the other unit, you live in the other one, you can either get it for free, get it at a very discounted rate, or even make a profit from it. Obviously the goal is to make a profit, but living in this house for $300 a month, not a bad situation. Now, it's a very good idea to do because the mortgages can take up 33% of your budget, right? So if you can take that out completely and have your next biggest expense, the car, you're in great hands, right? Okay, so the seventh and final reason to get started, or at least consider real estate, is the low volatility of it. So in stocks, everybody knows that the prices can go whoop, whoop in like 2 weeks, right? So in real estate, it's a little bit different. The prices are varied a lot differently than that. They're very consistent. You know, if they do go up a little bit, they'll come down a little bit. You may see a $10,000 to $20,000 increase or decrease, but if you've played your numbers right and are doing it strategically, you should have no problem if you factor in market crashes of some sort, because if you're doing your numbers based on exactly what it is right now without any cushion, you're going to be in a tough spot if there does come a correction at some point, which there probably will be very soon. But the beauty of long-term real estate investing is you have this person in the house already consistently paying you X dollars per month. Now the appraisal value of the house doesn't matter so much. It's more about the cash flow, which is essentially the ultimate goal for me and my wife. We're looking more at cash flow per month. We're trying to get our rental out and occupied as often as possible so that we can lower our mortgage payment and maximize our profit per month as far as other business ventures go. So hopefully I didn't keep you guys too long. Thank you for the ones that have stayed. I mentioned in the last video, if we can get around 15 likes for this video, we can do a property walkthrough, and I can kind of show you guys the property that we have as far as the bedroom, the bathroom, things like that, and we can kind of talk about why we chose these items. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time. I'm out of here.